We estimate somewhere around 100 million worldwide. There's a scheme where the players have a camera in their sleeve, and as they go to put the cut card in before a game, as a courtesy, you'd let the customer cut the card. Well, they run the cut card back and forth across the cards being held by the dealer, and on one of those passes, they riffle through the cards with their thumbnail, and their hidden camera takes a picture. Now they have a sequence of cards coming out in the next shoe, and they know the exact order. They can predict the winner or loser in a baccarat game. They know where the hitters stand or take insurance in blackjack and so on. At any rate, that's probably maybe the biggest scheme that's happened since in the last 10 or 12 years. We estimate somewhere around 100 million worldwide. And anytime you estimate based on historic losses, you can assume 2 or 3 times that much.
What was the most complex one you ever saw? We're like, wow, that was
one of the most interesting arrests that I was ever involved in. Was we caught a fella sitting at a game with a big black coat and 3 buttons on his sleeve. Well, 2 of the 3 buttons were false. One of the buttons covered the face of a digital camera lens, and the other covered the face of an infrared light. Infrared light is higher than the human eye can see. And they would run a wire up his sleeve and under his armpit and down his side into a fanny pack. Contained 4-seal lithium batteries. And on his back he had a walkie-talkie. Understand he's taking pictures, high-speed pictures from his sleeve, but he can't see them. So they had a radio on his back with an earpiece that came up to his ear. They covered the wiring with Band-Aids, so it looked like he cut himself shaving. Now, if he goes to his body, and too often, it'll look too obvious to surveillance or the floor person, so he doesn't control the batteries or the radio with his hands. He controls them with his toes. You run wires down his pants, into his shoes, oversized boots, heavy wool socks, a toe switch in each sock. If he raises his right toe, turns the power off and on to the battery. Raise the left toe, he turns the earpiece off and on so he can hear his partner. Now, he's taking high-speed pictures from his buttonhole, but he doesn't really know exactly where to aim. So, in order to get the video off the game, on his back he's wearing a flatboard 2 gigahertz microwave plate that connects to a signal strength amplifier so he can shoot at greater distances and go through the concrete and steel of our casino. Their camera is running about, 50 times faster than a standard surveillance camera, so they could freeze a playing card in midair. They could freeze a shuffle. They could freeze a shuffle machine back in the day and reconstruct it to see the order of the cards that are going to come out in the next game, the next shoe. So this guy's all wired up on the game, and his partner is hiding in a little truck in a parking lot, and inside is the high-speed recorder and a 48-inch microwave dish. Shoot a beam through his back, through the casino, hit him in his back, tell him where to aim his arm, all this to pick off your whole card and pick off shuffles and so on and so forth. They lasted over 7 years that I know of, and it was because they stayed small. They would only win $1,000 or $1,500, and in a casino the size of Bally's or MGM or one of those big joints, that doesn't even hit the hit sheet. Nobody even pays attention to it. When they stole 90,000 on a part of one shoe in baccarat at the Gold Coast, 60,000 at the Frontier, that's when people start calling me, and they were smart. They had different collectors. If the same guy keeps beating you for 1,000 or 1,500 at a time over and over and over again, it just doesn't look right. So they would burn and churn they're collectors. So let's suppose, Nikki, you're the collector, and I'm the guy with the all wired up with the devices. You don't know me. You don't know what I have on my body. You don't know anything about any truck in a parking lot. All you know is if I give you a signal, you do one thing. If I give you another signal, you do something else. If I give you the cut sign, that means scrub the plane, get up and leave. So the real professional crews have lasted an awful long time.
Was there ever one that you couldn't figure out how they were doing it?
Years ago, I was looking at what I know was marked card play, but nothing in the play suggested to me how they actually had marked the cards. Now, you can mark cards high and low, just good from bad. You can mark individual groups, high, medium, and low. You can mark by absolute value. So I know an ace from a king, from a queen, from a jack, and so on. Well, it seemed to me watching the play that these fellas knew the absolute value of every card. But they beat this one joint for about $180, $180,000. So, was it an inside job? I don't know. Did they mark them in advance and then the other guys came in and played it? I don't know. So those are the ones that bother me, because even 10 or 15 years later, I find myself studying the film.
So how hard is it to cheat at a casino?
Well, it isn't hard at all to cheat. The hard part's getting away with it. There's all kinds of guys that cheat, and I do a whole program, why do we only catch the amateurs? And I'll show I'll show the surveillance staff or casino staff or cops the same trick being done by professionals, and then the same trick being done by amateurs, and say what's the difference. One of them is technique, the second is the setup, and third, this is the intangible, is that the pros know when not to move. When they feel heat or they see something that just doesn't set right with them, they scrub the play and live to fight another day. So a lot of the great casino cheats never really got caught in the casino. They got ratted out. It's funny, there's an old Arabic saying, Fleta alam bi khalluser is at 9 maitin. The three of us can keep a secret just as long as I kill both of you.